Urian.
If you're familiar with the world of social media, you'll know that a lot of people have to abbreviate their posts because you're limited to characters and stuff. One abbreviation you see a lot when talking about athletes is GOAT. GOAT stands for greatest of all time. Now this man right here, B.J. Bunn, I can't go out and say he was the greatest of all time, but if you look at Western Alamance and go down the list of receivers, he's certainly going to be in that top upper echelon of GOATs. B.J. Bunn, for those of you that don't remember, maybe you're new to Western football, B.J. played back around the 2009, 2010, 2011 season, graduated in 2012, right?
Correct.
B.J. graduated in 2012. To let you know, to put this in perspective, in 2011, the 2011 season, B.J.'s senior season, B.J. was the leading receiver in the state of North Carolina for all classifications, 1A through 4A, 1,500 plus yards, 14 touchdowns. Just a phenomenal season, made all conference, all area, all region, and first team, all state. B.J., welcome back. Thank you for taking the time to come over. I appreciate it, and we're glad you're here. Right, we were just talking to B.J. just briefly and said we wanted to do this interview like a past, present, and future theme, and I wanted to talk to B.J. about the past, about his time at Western Alamance. What did it mean to you, B.J.? What are some things that stick out to you? Just talk freely about your days back playing for the Warriors.
First of all, Western is more of a tradition. The football team is more of a family. The coaches actually coach the players, and I just learned a lot as far as the aspect of family and friends and football, and that's probably why we're so successful at Western in the past 20, 30 years.
Are there any particular games, I don't want to put you on the spot, but any particular games or memories you have from the playing field or even in the locker room that just jump out at you and say, you know, I missed that, I remember that, or I missed that?
I miss playing Williams every year. I miss
never lost to Williams.
Never lost to Williams. I remember junior year we beat Northern Guilford for the conference championship. I think we're the last team to beat Northern Guilford in 3.
Until last year, actually, Eastern Alamance took them down. But yeah, that was for a very long time. I remember one game, BJ. You may remember this. This was at Eastern Alamance. It was a very cold night. And if I don't know the exact stats, but it's something like 7 catches for 150 some yards and 3 touchdowns. It was just off the charts. You remember that one?
Yeah, always when you're playing Eastern, you have to, you know, with that rival, you have to step up, and that's a big game for us too, being a conference game.
Yeah, one thing about BJ, and Kale remember this, is like after the games I do post-game interviews. You guys know this, and so during that senior season, it's like I find myself talking to BJ repeatedly because he's having such a good year. So then I say to myself, you know, okay, this game I'm going to talk to some other people. And I do, but lo and behold, BJ has such a good game that I have to talk to him again. So you might hold the record for most interviews ever, BJ. So that's enough about the past. Let's talk about the present. BJ graduated from Western, went to UNC-Pembroke, was redshirted his first year due to an injury. So he's going to be a rising redshirt junior with 2 years under his belt. First 2 years at Pembroke, very good. Freshman year, I've got some numbers. He came on to a team that went 9-2, had a great team back in 2013. The team was high flying, you know, the average like 330 yards passing, 37 points a game. BJ, as a redshirt freshman, had 56 receptions, 552 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Last year, things changed at Pembroke. You broke in a new quarterback, a freshman, I guess, a true freshman. And obviously, the production dropped as far as total offense, but BJ's numbers remained remarkably consistent. He was the leading receiver on the team last year with basically very similar numbers. 53 receptions, 402 yards, 1 touchdown. BJ, now looking at your time at Pembroke, what are some things that you've learned that you, as a collegiate player, that you didn't perhaps know going into college, that maybe you can pass along to some of the younger Warriors that are looking at this and you know, aspiring to play college football?
For one, build great relationships with your teammates and your coaches. That goes a long way, far past football, and it helps on the field because you know that the person beside you has your back, and you're definitely going into the fight with somebody beside you, and I don't know, just build a good relationship with your teammates. It just helps the team morale.
Yeah, it makes complete sense. Now, how about football in general at Pembroke? You guys play in the conference, a Division II school, and you're playing some good teams. I know you play Winston-Salem State. What are some of the big rivalries and some of the bigger games you played in?
Well, the year we went 9-2, my freshman year, redshirt freshman year, we played Charlotte for their homecoming, and
you won?
We won 45-22. Winston-Salem is always the big rival, the first game of the year. We usually have the first D2 game of the year, and this year the game is back in Pembroke, and you know, we lost to them last year in Winston-Salem, and we're playing on TV again this year. So that's always a big rival, and definitely they're in our region too, so it helps us out.
Absolutely.
In the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about the team in general? How are things looking this year? Like I said, last year was a little bit of a struggle. Things looking to rebound this year and come back?
Yeah, for sure. Our O-line is definitely 10 times better than it was last year. We have a transfer quarterback from Charlotte, Patrick O'Brien, which is he's kind of an older guy. He's 22, so he's going to be bringing in some experience. One of our quarterbacks from last year was a true freshman. He has a year under his belt, so those quarterbacks are competing for each other, but Pat has the upper hand right now, and just our team is, like you said, our chemistry is way better than last year. We can move the ball down the field. We don't do the huddle anymore.
Right.
So it's definitely set up for the receivers this year.
Well, we're looking forward to it. One thing I've told people, I'll always want to get to a game, and I have good intentions. I don't ever make it. But what I'm going to try, I'm not going to make a promise, but I'm going to do my very best to get to at least one game, hopefully your senior day, which will be 2 years from now. So I'm going to try and get to one game. All right, BJ, we talked about, past, present, and future, and now let's move to the future a little bit. You've got 2 years left under your belt at Pembroke. If you haven't noticed, you can't look at BJ. BJ is absolutely ripped. He's added about 20 pounds of muscle since his days at Western, and at Western he was quite an athlete then. BJ, do you have bigger aspirations beyond Pembroke to play professionally?
For sure. I plan on plan A is to go to the NFL or the CFL to play professional. That would be the biggest dream. Going to college, usually the players that play in college want to go past college. I don't know, football has really turned into something I really can see myself doing in the future.
Now, I know you can't obviously talk to agents and stuff, but have you learned from some of the other people the ropes on what you need to do as you get to become an upperclassman and get there?
For sure, there's really a big business aspect about the recruiting and getting an agent and all that, and I've kind of talked to a couple of people, not agents, but as far as teammates that are going through the process.
Yeah. So that's good. I know Dominique Bridges just left Pembroke. He's going through that same process and everything else. Now, we talked to you briefly too about you're going to get a degree. Are you on schedule for that? You're going to be there 5 years, I guess. So
5 years.
So what's your degree looking like?
I have 32 hours, so I can graduate, and I have 4 more semesters. So honestly, I could graduate next year, and I can go to a year in grad school at Pembroke if I wish. But my coaches that left that year that we were 9-2, Coach D called me a couple times, and he asked me about a GA position out there at West Florida. So that could be, a good starting to get under Coach Shinnick.
So life beyond football, perhaps using that degree to pursue a coaching career and following the footsteps of some of your mentors. That's great. All right, BJ, we appreciate your time. BJ's going to work out right now, he just told us, so he's never stops. He's just home here in the Burlington, Elon area for a few weeks before he heads back, because football is pretty much a year-round sport. BJ, it was great seeing you. Thanks for taking the time. Always a pleasure.